Good morning to you. Just an update here on my greenhouse coal/wood burner. As you can see, I've got it set up outside of the greenhouse here. Not or wishing or glad, I guess, that I never waited until I actually needed the heat to try it. The paint is definitely burning off better now. I got a good rager in there, and it also, the epoxy or the powder coat that was on these pipes started to smoke, which is a good thing there were no plants in there. So I'm trying to cook it up real good here now. I'm gonna have to take it in and make a few adjustments. First thing is, if you're getting any amount of smoke inside and coming out the chimney, when you open the door, the smoke goes straight up into my heat exchanger. That's not a good thing. You can see it coming out there now. The heat exchanger will pull it into the greenhouse. And of course, the other thing that's pretty obvious is I really do need a cold air return from the greenhouse. So to rectify that, I'm going to put a manifold on here, which will keep this smoke from going in there, and I'll run a pipe back to the greenhouse. The other thing too is, you can see I run a fairly long pipe into the greenhouse, and then I insulated it more so I didn't have the cooker between the greenhouse and the fence there. But I'm gonna have to shorten that up to get a better temperature into the greenhouse, and with a cold air return I'll definitely get some better results. But you can see how that smoke comes out of there. Now if I open up my draft, I could suck that smoke into the stove, but of course you want to preserve your fire as long as possible. So I think a collector here, a cold air return, would be in order. I'm having trouble with my coal. When we went and picked it up, it was snowing, and even tarping it, the snow still got into the coal, so the coal is wet. So on light up, it's pretty wet. It smokes a lot. You can see she's cleaned up considerable now, but there is still a little bit of, so I don't know if you can see that little bit of haze in here, but that's actually the epoxy and the coal smoke that I just let into the heat exchanger. So I've got my fan just right here, and of course this was all just makeshift to test it. And I think with a cold air return in here, I would definitely be in better shape. We can get the temperature, it's about -15 out, not quite, and we are sitting on 6.6 degrees in here, but it's not good heat. It's not even melting the ice on the greenhouse yet. So we're gonna take her back into the shop once she cools down. We'll put a cold air return on it. We'll shorten up this ductwork so that it's not so long, and I had a hole in here already for I had a brilliant idea to put a coal burner in here and duct it outside, but even when it's airtight it still smokes up the greenhouse. I thought if I sucked air from outside it would seal her up good, but it's not the way to go. So this forced air heat exchanger is I'm definitely happy with it. I was running a 20-25 degree temperature before, and I was happy with that, but I've soon realized the greenhouse sheds heat quicker than 20 degrees is gonna heat it. So what I found was it was 15 or 20 degrees outside, -20 degrees Celsius, and I was holding the greenhouse at about -2. So obviously you have to overcompensate with the amount of heat that you're throwing, and my temp gun is not being real cooperative today. It's almost like it's off. See, it's showing 46 there, 50s, and it is fairly warm. Like, you can only hold your hand in there for so long before you can really feel the burn. But I think a cold air return, you can't just force air into here without having anywhere for the air to go. I did have a whole air that was for my previous burner, and I thought the air would just force its way out there, even with a fan down there circulating, but not the case. I actually have draft coming into the greenhouse there. I'm not sure how or why, but what I do know is I've got to get a cold air return on there anyway to keep that smoke from coming in the greenhouse. Right now I'm just going to continue to cook and burn off what paint and epoxy or powder coat I can, and because I sure don't want that coming in here when the plants are in here. And I'll get a better ductwork set up. I'll make it more presentable. But I think overall the system's going to work. It just needs a few more modifications. And the other concern I have, of course, is my wet coal, but that's really not the burner's problem. I'll just have to deal with that. And I mean, wood is always an option at this point as well. So I just wanted to kind of give a working update on this thing and explain why it needs some more modifications. Alright.